All right, welcome back to the Run.down post-game show here on the Strickland YouTube channel. If you listen to this the day after the Strickland Podcast Network, Knicks win 117 to 104 versus the Detroit Pistons, bringing their record to 25 and 19 amongst the top 10 teams in the league record-wise. Another road win that is 10-2 in their last 12 road games.
14
And
wins in general. They tied with Brooklyn for the most road wins in the league. So Road Warriors, which is a stark contrast from what they were, like what they've usually been. They usually be like a decent home team and a worse road team, but now they're like an elite road team and an okay-ish home team. So depending on whether or not you feel like that's good or bad, them being able to win on the road is still a positive.
yeah, um, you know, I mean, to just get into the box score of things, Julius Randle led the way with 42 and 15 rebounds, 4 assists. Jalen Brunson followed suit with 27, 5, and 4. And quickly off the bench, which was probably the only bench presence on the team, with 17, 3, and 3. Those were your three leading scorers for today. I mean, you look at the minutes. Shouldn't have even come to guys playing 40 minutes tonight, honestly.
I think Brunson played the entire second half.
Yeah, look, it appeared so. I think he sat for like a brief, maybe like a minute or two stint, but like came right back in. But yeah, I mean, he played a lot. Randall played a lot, and it's sad that it had to come to, this versus the Pistons. Like, not even Pistons, like with Bogdanovich or anything, or Bagley, but like or Duran. I mean, they were missing like a good chunk of their like main contributors, and
They're missing
we,
their starting five. That's basically
yeah,
their starting five.
and we still had to, play our starters down in the fourth quarter. I try my best to come into these post games, like let me find all the positives to talk about. But like this team, they make it like so easy to like talk about the negatives. But I will talk about the positives. Um, Julius Randle once again with another dominant performance. 42 and 15. I kind of expected this domination from him and Robinson on the boards, especially with the Pistons. No Duran, no Bagley, just Isaiah Stewart, who's like what 6'8",
Yeah,
and they
they did
played
like that
what?
day.
They played Kevin Knox at the backup center minutes.
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
was filthy.
it was easy to pick out Knicks rebounding props. Those all cashed. But yeah, I mean, just domination from Julius, showing once again that, he can play at this high level offensively. Defensively was meh. It was meh from a lot of the team today. I think a lot of them they mailed it in versus a Pistons B squad that they just like I guess either didn't respect or didn't care to like really put in that full effort because as you can see defensively, Pistons got the reason why they were in this game is because of a lot of threes. You had guys Killian, Kevin Knox, I mean Jaden Ivey, Sadiq Bey, all those guys just hitting a bunch of threes, which brought them back into the game multiple times. Guys just leaving them open. Um, but yeah, I mean, he did his thing. Jalen Brunson, once again, another great performance. 27 points. Three away from that, fourth straight 30 ball, which would have been, the first time since like what Stephon Marbury, the Knicks guard, has done four straight 30-point games. So, the 1-2 punch of JB and Randall have been, thriving and coming together at the right time. And, they're both making a case for All-Star. Sadly, Knicks fans have not been doing their due diligence with the All-Star voting, as only Julius Randle has come into the top 10 of his position in voting,
Derrick
while
Rose.
Derrick Rose is somehow the Knicks guard that made it into the top 10 instead of Jalen Brunson. But Knicks fans, do your due diligence, do your job. You know, get our guys into the All-Star game. I mean, at least get them like at least try to get them higher in the votes. I have my trust that the coaches will do their job and vote in either Brunson or Randall or both, because I mean
I,
they're both having great
I think
seasons.
I think it's looking like it might be both, just on account of like dudes are injured, and it's hard to deny. It's hard to deny Brunson, and I think it's harder to deny Randall because like the East front court is so weak. Um, you have of course like the core for KD, Embiid, Giannis, and Tatum, but like afterwards it's Siakam and then who. So plus the numbers he's just putting up have just been silly since December. So I think there's a case there, especially with the winning record and such. And then you look at the guards, like Halliburton's going to be injured for who knows how long. Um, Maybe Garland sneaks his way in there, but like I think they might have two, or if not two, like straight up, they might get two after injury replacements. So
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, they've been, they've been as a dominant as a 1-2 punch as you can get in the league. Um, I mean, the points that they're putting up, the way that they're able to, dominate offensively, whether it's, I mean, both of them have picked up their 3-point shooting as of late, which has been very encouraging.
yeah,
Um, and one thing that's helped them out a ton, I think, is playing more with Emmanuel quickly. I feel like that's helped both of them. As you can see now, Emmanuel quickly is like getting like 30 plus minutes a night, I think, since for like the greater part of like a month or so now. So, you know, that's been encouraging to see. It's come at the cost of RJ Barrett minutes, who, he's still coming back from the injury, still figuring some things out, especially defensively. But, I think quickly playing with them defensively, it helps them a ton, as well as offensively. He's able to, space the floor, as well as create opportunities, whether off the drive or off the catch. So, that's
I
been,
also think that you could argue that like his decision making has been so crucial for that lineup, especially in crunch time. Like you saw it in the Pacers game where he was basically the only person who could like beat traps towards the end of the game. His ability to just do anything the team needs him to do, like whether it be guard somebody really prominent on the perimeter or run a possession that way Brunson could do stuff off ball and Randall could do stuff off ball. Like his versatility is so crucial, and the fact that he still has the juice to like get stuff done self creation wise with like either pull up threes or be able to drive and like get to the rim and get a foul. The floater has been one of the most elite floaters in the league this year. So like quickly he's really starting to round into his own. He's been in a really good groove, obviously, the last 15, 20 games or so. I think he's been like 60 true shooting for the last 20 games, putting him like 18 points per game. So, like, this is prime starter quality play, and he's given to you off the bench. And I don't think you really complain about that. Like, his contributions have been massive. He's a point guard. I don't want to hear anybody talk about how he's a combo guard or an off guard. Like, he's a legitimate point guard who could also play off the ball. And I think Brunson especially loves playing with him. Like you can see, like they legitimately love playing with each other. Like when like quickly had that lay against Washington, like Brunson was celebrating. Like I think they just play really well with each other and play really well off each other. So quickly has been vital to this team's success so far in the season.
yeah. And there was a play in the fourth quarter, I think, where like Jaden Ivey was trying to like go against like quickly, try to drive past him, and he completely stifled that. And it forced him to throw a bad pass to more quickly tried to throw a bad, I mean not quickly, where Ivy tried to throw a bad pass to I forgot whoever it was, but Jalen Brunson was able to deflect out of bounds.
Yeah,
But that was just that was like quickly stifling a guy who's like what two like has like what 3 or 4 inches tall on him. And
which
I
is
wasn't able to do anything.
it's just common, right? Like you see quickly just guarding up a position for whatever reason, whether he gets switched onto or like it's part of the scheme, and he's just able to make it work. Like I think that just speaks to how good he has been, and as I will tweet frequently this season, how special is Emmanuel quickly? And the answer is very special.
Yeah. This has been the moment most Emmanuel quickly and Knicks fans have been, waiting for. It has finally dawned upon us, and we're on a winning team, so it's even more evident. He's getting a lot of recognition, I think, now from
The
not
National
just Knicks
League,
fans, but just like national media, and like even the casual fans. Like they're able to recognize how much of an impact Emmanuel Quickly is having on, not even just on the offensive end, because those numbers have definitely been like more eye popping as of late, but the defensive end as well.
And it's also good to see him like finding his shot because that was the big thing that I think a lot of people like kind of criticized him for was like the shot hasn't been there and it hasn't been there all the way yet. But like again for the last 20 games, so he's been shooting around 40%. So clearly the shot is there. You would like to be a little bit more consistent, but I do think by the end of the season, like it'll be average enough to like where it's not much of an issue. And his play inside the arc has been fantastic. He's shooting over 50% inside the arc, which is I think that was if you told me he would be shooting over 50% inside the arc, I would have found it far fetched. Not this season, like well this season, not maybe like for his career. Like I was expecting like maybe year 4, year 5, but like the fact that he's been so good around the rim and so good with the floater, and he's even added like the mid range game. He's just been so effective at getting to his spots, and it's not just on threes. So
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, I think, not only playing with those lineups in the closing minutes with those guys helps them, I think it also helps him as well
yes,
playing, he doesn't have to be like because he spends a lot of his minutes with like mainly the bench guys with like Deuce, Obi, and Hart, and now with RJ because RJ is part of that second unit. He plays with that second unit a lot. But I think, help playing with the starters as well as the bench and having like equal amounts of opportunities with both of those units definitely um helps what he's been doing as of late.
yeah, he's been so vital for this team. I can't stress it enough. Like his ability to play with starters, with the bench, play arm ball, play off ball, defend the best perimeter player, defend the second best perimeter player, be able to rotate. Just whatever he's asked to do, he's able to do it. And to have a player like that on your roster is so pivotal for a winning team, and I love it. He's been good. Um, I think we could also talk about a bit about like the bench's futility in general. Um, Deuce only played 4 minutes. Obi played 9 minutes. Hartenstein played 11 and a half minutes. I don't think the Hartenstein minutes were too bad today. I know he had a -2, but I don't think he played so terrible. I did like his energy down the fourth when they started to pull away a bit. Um, but yeah, that bench unit has not been too prominent, and I think they do miss Alec Burks, who had another good game again today. 14 points, 4 threes for Alec Burks. So shout out Big Money AB. But yeah, the bench unit has been really, really rough. I just like it just sucks because Quickly's kind of the only guy who can do stuff with the ball in his hands in that unit. Miles can do it, but he seems really passive and like tentative when trying to do stuff like that. Obi has never really had that quality. He's more of somebody who like needs a table set for him, and the offense that we run doesn't really give these guys any favors for all of the and for like all of the uh the hashing we've done about like the offense and how the offense works and such. It's also rough when like guys can't put the ball on the floor or are scared to put the ball on the floor, and like they're not that good of shooters. So it's rough, and you kind of feel like you're gonna need them to do more, or you're gonna need more pieces because like it's making Randall play 40 minutes, it's making Brunson play 42 minutes, and that's not sustainable for the rest of the season.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, I mean, the bench definitely needs some help. You're just wondering where that's gonna come from. You expect them to make a trade, or at least a lot of people are expecting them to make a trade for someone. There's so many different rumors going around now because we're getting close to that trade deadline season. There's rumors of Caruso, which I don't really understand why. I don't see where he helps us offensively. I mean, I think that's where the bench needs the help offensively. And I think you're willing to, sacrifice a little bit of defense. And me and Jeff were talking about this last stream about how, like, when we were talking about the Gary Trent trade, it kind of fits that bill of sacrificing a little bit of defense but getting some offense for the bench because they need it. And like you can't keep relying on, you know, heavy minutes from the starters so much, especially as we get down late into the season, closer to playoffs. You want your guys a little bit more fresh. You want, you also just want to have more options available to you as a team too. So yeah.
Yeah. I think in a vacuum, acquiring Caruso is a fine move. Like, he's super deuce, but it's also a matter of like, having a 6'5" guard who can like defend the perimeter as well as he does, can really play guard 1 to 4, is a decent offensive player, even though like he doesn't take a lot of shots. Like, he's still efficient enough to like where like you can have him out on the perimeter and he can hit his threes and he can like do stuff inside the paint. Like right now, I think he's at 57 true shooting. So like he's not a bad offensive player. You would just like to see him do more, but that's not his game. But if you could acquire him for cheap, I'm okay with that. I would just want another move alongside of it.
Yeah, definitely.
Like I would want somebody who can like shoot more. If you want to acquire him for the sake of like, okay, let's acquire Alex Caruso and then like have him under contract for 2 years, making less than $10 million. That's fine to me. But like I would need another wing. I need somebody on the wing who could like, actually help quickly and relieve him of like having to do everything for the bench unit. Because going from one of the best bench units to one of the worst bench units, despite getting Brunson, has been like a really big weakness of this team, is where it's like their starters have to play big minutes because the bench unit can't really give us anything.
Yeah. All right. Should we talk about let's talk about Grimes. A lot's been made of, his drives recently. I think we're noticing that teams are sitting more on, that pass that he likes to make off drives where to the point where he's not really taking as much layups. I saw on the timeline, I think it was either you or Stacy that was mentioning
Yeah,
about it.
both of us.
But yeah, he definitely does need to be more aggressive in his takes. Defenses are expecting that that dump off pass to, the big in the dunker spot. So, he's gotta diversify that a little bit more.
Yeah, like I think it's really predictable. And I know he's not bad at layups. Like he's shooting really well on twos. So I would just like to see him, like Stacy said, like have a counter. So like if people expect the dump off pass, the big, which is like a good read. It's not a bad read at all. Like you want your wings to have that pass, but you also want them to be able to like just take it to the cup. And he has his moments where like he wants to yam it back on people, which I respect, and I love a good highlight. But I would also like him to just like just lay it up once in a while. Like just give yourself that ability to like lay it up, because he could finish through contact. I know he could like absorb the bump because we saw him do it before, where like he literally got the contact to the bump and got to the line. So I think it would benefit him. I think it would benefit the offense. I think it would be a situation where like um now you can like have a counter. So like is it going to the big? Is Grimes going to draw free throws off of it? And I think the guys that could like draw free throws could be even better than we've already seen. So I would like to see that counter. I would like to see him do that. And I think he can. It's just a matter of like not making the first read his dump off pass.
Yeah. What else should we talk about? Look through the box score. Let me see. I would say, I mean, yeah, I think we covered the bases of like the main talking points of today. I mean, I don't know if anyone's really made such a big deal of the closing lineup lately. I think everyone's been like pretty okay with, Dibs going with like IQ over RJ as of late. I think it's like he's been the, more optimal choice, especially as RJ is still getting, back
Like
into the
yeah,
groove of playing again because he was out for like what 6 games or whatever it was.
yeah, it was 6.
So yeah, I think it's been totally fine to have IQ play over him. IQ, has definitely been more on top of it defensively. And also it's like it's not like it's not like RJ's getting benched for anyone that's like a vet or like some like scrub or something. It's like he's getting benched for like another good young player on the team, and when RJ has it going, he'll definitely close once again. So it's like it's definitely made Dibbs' job easier in terms of balancing the minutes, which is something that I was concerned about because I was like, there's no way that you can go to IQ playing like 25 minutes again when RJ comes back because he's just been so good. But RJ, having a little bit of a slow re-entry back into the lineup has definitely made it easier for Thibs to just go with IQ over RJ in those situations down the stretch. So it's gonna be interesting to see when RJ does have it going again, what he does with balancing those minutes. But yeah,
Yeah, I think I would just like to see two of like Brunson, not Brunson, RJ, IQ, and Grimes be like in the closing lineup, just like whoever the best of those two going in. I don't think it should be static. I do
yeah,
think ultimately speaking, like you're gonna have a situation where um two of those guys are on the court, and maybe even all three of them, depending on like how Mitch is having. If like you want to run a small ball lineup, you do like all five of them. So it'll be interesting to maneuver. And if they get another guy, how that fits into the equation as well. But yeah, like I wouldn't make too much of it. It's his third game back from a finger injury. He's still definitely getting his cardio back. He's still getting his legs back, and I expect him to ramp it up once he's comfortable doing so.
yeah. Um, Quick notes here: Knicks are 6-1 in 2023. That's best in the Eastern Conference. Um, you know, that's pretty damn good.
Yeah, like
Um,
the Knicks have been a good team, and like it's weird to say because I think going into the season we were like this team isn't as talented as we thought it would be, but like they have three legitimate all defensive players or all defensive caliber players. They have two legitimate all stars. RJ Barrett is still like finding his groove, but he's still like a high end starter. So you look at this team and you look at like, like there's just so much here to work with. And you know that they have the picks, you know that they have like the really good drafting acumen. And it's hard to not be excited about this team because in fact this is supposed to be like this is supposed to be like year one of this team like starting to find his identity and like this is more of an information year. And the fact that they're already this good in an information year, especially after starting out the season so poorly as they did, like it's hard to not be excited about like where this team can really go. And honestly, like there's still room for them to move up in the standings because like they're not too far behind Cleveland, they're not too far behind Philadelphia, and there are going to be some games around them against those guys coming up. And I wouldn't be surprised if like they give them a real battle.
yeah. I mean, my only concern in those matchups is, we do still give up a ton of open threes, and those teams they have higher quality shooters than the teams that we've been playing lately. So there's that. They do have to clean up their act defensively. When it comes to leaving guys open, but there is, we're not too far behind, the other guys in the East. So
Yeah, like I think they're right there. I straight up think they're in the tier with like the Sixers and the Cavaliers. I think they are. And honestly, the Bucks game, I know that we kind of crumbled late, but still, I think they're up there as well. Like I think 3-6 in the East, 3-7 in the East, really, with the Heat. I think you have to respect the Heat. I think it's really close between those guys, and like winning those games are going to be pivotal, especially since we have a lot of those games coming up.
yeah, I think that stretch is really gonna like define like what the Knicks are about because like this recent stretch has been, hey, what's the biggest lead the Knicks can blow and still win the game? Like that's what I feel like this stretch has been as of late. So this upcoming stretch, is going to be what can the Knicks make up ground on the teams above them. So we'll see if they can do that.
Yep. It just sucks that they dropped some games, and it sucks that they had to like go 10-13 before they figured it out. But better late than never, and I will take winning over losing, no matter how late it comes. especially since they're still a playoff team.
Yeah. All right. Time for everyone's favorite part of these shows. Um. Let's get to the ad read. All right. The NFL playoff picture is locked in, and my go-to place for wildcard round action is DraftKings Sportsbook, an official betting partner of the NFL. To kick off the road to the Super Bowl 57, new customers can bet just $5 and get 200 in free bets instantly. Plus, all new and existing customers can get a no sweat bet each day of the wildcard round this weekend, including today, as there's wildcard action today. I'm currently watching Bills versus Dolphins. As you know, the Dolphins are making it a game versus the Bills,
Josh
surprisingly.
Josh Allen needs to dive into Esther immediately.
So on Fraud Watch.
Fraud watch is not enough to describe how bad he's been.
Well, we'll see. Just place any NFL bet of your choice, and if it loses, you'll get a free bet back up to $10. Action so good. Why bet NFL playoffs anywhere else?
Also, by the
Download
way, looks like Aaron. Oh, sorry, my bad.
Download DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code TBPN. New customers can bet $5 on the NFL and get 200 in free bets instantly. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook with code TBPN. In minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes or show description for details. As Gabe Davis gets a toe tap touchdown.
Gabe Davis gets a toe tap touchdown. Aaron Donald retired. It's a weird day in the
Aaron
NFL.
Donald retired?
Yeah, apparently
Wow.
just a quiet update of the bio. He just says former NFL defensive lineman for the Rams.
Interesting. What a way
And
to
just
announce it.
yeah,
He should have went out after the Super Bowl. To go out after this like pathetic season that this team had, then I don't know.
it's okay. Derek Dexter Lawrence is taking the mantle, so it's in good hands.
um all right. Let's get to some comments now. All right, let's see. As Arthur says, 9 minutes for Obi when we playing the Pistons is gross. Yeah, I think he probably would have played a lot more if this game was like out of reach for the out of reach for the Pistons. The Pistons made it a game, so we had to rely on our starters because our bench just didn't have it. I do get your point though against like the Pistons. They're playing small. There was a point at the end of the first quarter where Thibs went Obi Randall like very briefly, but then like for the rest of the game, he just never tried it. Um, but yeah, it's going to be he's also someone that's like ramping back into form too. So I'm not too upset at his minutes right now. But like I said, I do think if this game was a blowout, I think he would have played a lot more, and it would have definitely helped him, get into some type of rhythm. But there's still some time for him to, get back into game form.
Yeah, I don't want to say I'm worried about Obi, but he's definitely like lost. He definitely hasn't. I think he's regressed from this season. And granted, I understand that like his context hasn't been that great, but I feel like he's lost touch around the rim, like especially like those two putbacks that he just missed, like back to back. Like he had the Hartenstein play from a few nights ago, and that was like rough to see. The three ball hasn't been there. They've been blocking out his leak outs and transitions, so he's not getting the cheeky key buckets he used to get. And yeah, like I kind of feel like the writing's on the wall. Um, at some point, we're going to move off of him. I think it's kind of a formality at this point. The front office seems to be choosing quickly, and to a greater extent, Randall, which like you can't really blame them. The man just put up 42 and 14 tonight, or 42 and 15 rather. So yeah, it's rough for Obi. It really does suck, but at the same time, like it's hard to really envision a role for him. And if he doesn't really have it going within the context, then yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna still hold out judgment just to see how he like ramps back into form. He's coming off that fracture in his leg. I still think that he's not being, utilized to his best ability. You know, with we have two good point guards now. There's like no excuse for us not to run like some type of like pick and roll action for him at least twice a game, just to get him a quick, some quick easy buckets, um, stuff like that. I was talking to Jeff the other day. I feel like there was more plays ran for him, during that early stretch of last season when both Taj and Noel were out. Um, there was a greater run of plays for him, I would say. Especially in that Celtics game, which really stuck out to me because I was there, so like I remember that one more vividly. But like, he had like some plays run for him where like there was like a double, like a stack pick and roll, and like he was able to roll while Julius was popping. That gave like it made defenses actually have to think about, who to actually go for in the play. They go out to Randall for the three, leaves Obi open for rolling to the basket. But stuff like that. I feel like there's little things like that we can do to make his job easier, and optimize his role while also expanding the offensive arsenal of the team.
Yeah. I think it just sucks that like you're never gonna get some kind of like this offense is very read and react. They have one play in the initial part of it, so like a high screen and roll, or like some kind of like pistol action. Like you could tell the play. It's like some get downhill, make a rim read, pass out to open shooter, get downhill, pull up for shot, get downhill, get to rim. Like it's a very simple offense, and it requires a lot of like creativity and a lot of like free flowing offense. If you watch the Raptors, it looks really similar to the Raptors offense. The difference is the Raptors can't shoot. And we can't shoot, but like we have better shooters than the Raptors, and like our guys could get that. So like this is just not the team for him. It's not the coach for him, not the team for him. But at the same time, I think it also comes down to like I don't trust him to take two dribbles. Like maybe has one power dribble, but like I don't trust him to really handle the ball. I don't trust him to like do things with like require him to shoot because like he was shooting well earlier in the season, but like that's fallen off a cliff. Um, Again, the finishing has been bad. The touch has been worse. So like I don't think he really does anything well on the court offensively right now, which sucks. And it's like when he's not doing that, sure he might have a positive plus minus, but the team is actively like not looking to him in situations like that, and he just kind of is like existing there and benefiting from like guys like quickly playing guys like quickly in Brunson, you know, more than like being somebody who's like able to reap the benefits of their gravity.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. We'll see how things play out for him. JL says we have to be the worst team in the league at closing quarters. 17-point lead cut to 7 in like 3 minutes at the end of the second. Yeah, they really went on a run at the end of the second. A lot of threes that it seems to be the bread and butter of Knicks collapses. Um, a lot of threes, a lot of lackadaisical defense. I'm gonna actually go back and read the end of the second quarter to see, you know, how it went. So, we missed some threes. Killian Hayes hit a three. We also had some turnovers too that didn't help us out. But yeah, let me get to this run right here. So we're up about 55 to 40. No, 58 to 40. Livers hits a three. Quickly misses a three. Um, we missed some shots. Grimes fouls Knox. Shout out to Knox. He had a good game today. Um, I know you hate him.
Like, God, I put on his jersey hoping that would like reverse jinx him, and it did not.
Then he hits after he gets the two free throws, then he gets a three. So he gets like 5 points within a matter of seconds, literally. Um, Randall gets a layup. Then Bay gets a dunk. I think that's when he drove by quickly. Um, Grimes misses a fadeaway. Then Knox gets another layup. Brunson turnover. Um, Sadiq Bay gets that steal off Brunson. He had a bad pass. Sadiq Bay misses the layup. Livers gets the rebound, kicks it out to Killian Hayes for the three, and that's how 18-point lead becomes 7 in the NBA. Just a couple some turnovers, foul a guy, and let them get some momentum, and that's how it goes. And I mean, pretty much for the rest of the game, even though we we pulled away at times, we kept letting them back in the game by hitting threes, by getting some, you know, and ones. Jaden Ivey made it a point to, really get aggressive in that fourth quarter, early in that fourth quarter, and that's why we had to bring our starters back in. But yeah, I mean, Knicks, they really got to clean up those things right there.
Yeah, it just kind of feels like this team has mental lapses where like for 5 minutes at a time they kind of just like forget to play basketball, and they do the things that were winning. They build up these huge leads, and then they just kind of collapse. And again, it's hard to say that isn't coaching because you know what this team does when they have big leads. They go into their shell. They play conservative. They get away from the things that build leads in the first place just to piss it all away, and then like when they piss it all away, they get tight. So again, feels like coaching, but they're not gonna change their coach anytime soon. Which we can sit here and talk about how good or bad that is, but like it's gonna be the reality. Like they're not changing coaches. So yeah, it just really sucks to watch the execution of this team. I'm just glad it didn't happen in the fourth quarter. It happened in the second, which like maybe that's good or bad depending on how you feel. But like at least they were able to at least close out the fourth quarter. So
Yeah. All right. As Arthur says, if we do right by Rose and trade him, what or who do you think we can get?
a pack of menthols, maybe some post-it notes, some 2% milk,
Oh my gosh.
a fax machine if they're feeling frisky. Like Derrick Rose has had a very good career. He's had an illustrious comeback from injury. I think it's safe to say he's washed. Um, and that's not a knock on Derrick Rose. He's 34 years old. It's okay to be washed at 34 years old. I don't think you're getting a good return.
Yeah, not everyone's, LeBron. They're not gonna like look at like the high still at like play at a high level
Exactly.
late, super late into their career. The fact that, Derrick Rose is even able to make it to like 34 in the league still, is, a testament to like his, drive and being able to come back from those injuries and whatnot. So, kudos to him.
Yeah, like not everybody can be Taj Gibson. That's okay. Um, Shout outs to Taj. That spin fade midi on Friday is still like insane for Taj. But like, yeah, I don't really think you're gonna get much back for him. I think what they're going to likely be doing is like they're saying that's like save face, but they're probably just gonna trade him, and then the team whoever trades him is gonna buy him out, and then he gets like maybe a ring chase if he can.
Yeah, if anyone wants to like sign him to like be on the bench just in case they need like a break glass in case of emergency guard.
I could absolutely see like the Warriors kind of signing him, but like
Bucks.
Bucks, yeah, I mean Bucks got George Hill and Javon Carter. Like they could definitely make him work.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I don't think they're gonna like trade him to only like I don't think like he has a no trade clause essentially where like you can't send me here. I think the Knicks would probably like if anything they like send an asset just to like promise okay hey we'll do this trade but like you buy him out afterwards, and that's like their way of like keeping it even.
Yeah. Maybe if you package him with like someone else, the package becomes, a little bit more palatable for teams, but I don't think
I
we're really gonna get much for him.
I once again raised the idea of Derrick Rose and Cam Reddish with the Bucks pick for Gary Trent Jr. Actually, you could probably just do Derrick Rose by himself. Like salary will work out, but like, yeah, I think they're probably using him just like as a way to get more salary on the books that they feel comfortable with. And again, 14.5 in expiring salary is going to be good to teams who have like assets like oh maybe a J Crowd. No, let me not say that. Let me not say that. I don't want boss man on this team. But yeah, I mean like I think that's they're gonna use him to like get somebody that they want instead of like him being like the asset.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. H22 says feels like the blown leads stem from too much ISO and not enough ball movement. Definitely, definitely. I mean, that's what leads to like the collapses. Late in the fourth quarter after the leads are blown. But yeah, I definitely think the isolation, not enough ball movement. I mean, that's like a staple of this team's offense, though. So it's like that is just going to be a constant symptom, um, of the way this team plays. Like,
Yeah, yeah, like
there's no other way to put it.
it's unfortunate, but at the same time though, like I also think the situation of like when they do move the ball, it kind of just ends up in Brunson and Randall's hands anyway. Because like who's take like they could throw the ball to like Grimes, but if Grimes is just going to drive, not like what he sees, then reset it and goes back to Brunson. At that point, you're just like, okay, well Brunson's got to do something because we have like 6 seconds left on shot clock. I do think it's like they're both symbiotic of each other, where it's like, yeah, the ball's always in Brunson and Randall's hand, but it's also like because of necessity. If guys don't want to take shots, if guys want to be timid, or if guys are taking shots but they're not really making them, then the ball then naturally is going to end up in the hands of like your two hottest guys, your two best players. Um, Especially when like Grimes doesn't have it going today, Archie didn't have it going today. Mitch is like you're not really going to look to Mitch for offense, even though like I think they could have looked to him more because the Pistons were playing nobody over 6'10". But at the same time, with like when a dude is hot, a dude is hot, and that's kind of how you're like the league goes, where it's like, okay, this dude's hot, we're let him cook.
Yeah. I mean, there was like a whole bunch of possessions in the third quarter where like the game was getting close to like the game was getting the Knicks were having a whole bunch of possessions where it was getting late into the shot clock and there was like little to no movement at all. Um, and I think that's like that was another part of the game where the Pistons were making a game of it. The game was still close. It was like the game was like ranging from like an 8 to like a 12-point game at various points within that stretch. But yeah.
Yeah, it's just like this team is gonna ride those two guys balls until the wheels fall off. So like, for better or for worse, that's just how it's going to. That's how it's going to be. And until it doesn't work, which it really doesn't work because realistically this team has been boat racing a ton of teams, then what can you do?
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Chris Bernhard, he says, man, if this team could get Gary Trent Jr. an upgrade backup center since Thibs refuses to use Sims, they could do something interesting in the postseason. I think, yeah, I mean, it's so weird. I mean, Hartenstein has actually been pretty decent lately.
He's been decent, but like again, like
It's not something that I can like fully trust.
his bad is so magnified because he just looks dorky doing it. Like
And plus, since our defense relies on the center position so much too.
yeah, like when he's having a good game, like in the Wizards game, like it's a really quiet, it's just boring fundamental shit. Maybe like a good block, but like not like a highlight block like Mitch. But when he's bad, he just looks uncoordinated. He looks rough. It looks like what the hell are we doing here? Which is really unfortunate because I feel like he's like even this game today, like I feel like he had a really solid game. I didn't
I
really
mean, he
problem.
probably had his best defensive play as a Nick. That
Yeah,
block on Diallo.
I know he looked like white LeBron. It was good to see. So like I think he's had a couple of good games. I would like to see Sims, but like at the same time, they're like the same age. I think Sims actually might be a little bit older. I can double check that real quick. But like, yeah, man, I it just kind of feels like um Sims trusts Hartenstein more, which
Is so weird because Sims actually fits the profile of what he wants at center. And he's like stuffing Hartenstein into that role when he has Sims right there, which fits the bill seamlessly, basically.
yeah, yeah.
It's
I
so weird.
it's like Tibbs has just been such a weird like for all the things we hear about like Tibbs players and Tibbs types of players, like he will ride dudes that like literally do not fit any ideal that he has into the sunset. Like Evan
Fournier,
Fournier. Like I can understand upper picking because like the defense first, we were pressure or whatever. But like then he
which he
rode.
was absolutely terrible at.
Yes, yes, of course that's implied. But like it just made no sense. Um, it made no sense to me to ride someone like Evan Fournier, especially when he doesn't fit your ideals. So, but yeah, like I think with Hartenstein, if they managed to leverage his passing, he would be so good, man. I just want him to leverage his passing more than like ask him to be Tosh Gibson essentially. But it's not gonna happen, so I shouldn't even try to get my hopes up.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. H22 says Mitch had some small players on him and we didn't throw it to him. Yeah, I mean this team isn't really gonna like feed Mitch in the paint that often. I mean, Mitch is really gonna get his bread and butter offensively from putbacks and lobs. Um, and our offense doesn't really is not really like based upon pick and rolls and stuff like that. So yeah,
Yeah, like they also cannot throw an entry pass to save their lives. Like
that too.
like entry passing is a lost art, but like the Knicks especially. I think we like already had two turnovers today where like we were doing entry pass and then they just got either took it away from somebody or just swatted it. Like there was one to Randall and there was one to Mitch, and we just cannot throw entry passes, man. Like it's bad. Like we are a bad passing roster in all facets. We're just a really bad passing roster. Like this offense is top 10, and this offense is top 10 based on like ISO, based on like just really really high 2 point efficiency, and straight up getting to the free throw line and converting free throws at like a decent clip. Because it's not all like passing and ball movement and like teamwork and making like two guys to the ball. Like it is straight up just vibes, which is incredible. Which again speaks to the talent of this roster. But like yeah, like this team is top 10 offense, top 10 defense, and like the defense, sure, I think is more like effort, but we don't defend the three as well as we really could. But yeah, like this is just it's so wild. This team is like as good as it is because like if you look at the way this team is coached, you'd be like, okay, this team should be like below 500, but they're not. It's just they have wildly talented dudes outperforming their value.
Yeah. Um, yeah. So shout out to the players on this team. I refuse to give credit to the head coach. Um, kill me for it. I don't care. JL says Randall would be a lock on everyone's All-Star ballot if not for last year, but that previous season reputation is hard for him to shake. Definitely. I think it's like previous season reputation as well as like, a lot of people they went to bat for him crazy after that stinky playoff performance, and then for him to come out and like repay the fans with that support, with like the whole thumbs down situation after performing badly, it just all compounded on itself, and like the team itself wasn't performing up to expectations. Like the team seemed like it regressed following a great year. Like you improved on certain aspects of the team, but like the team overall didn't improve. So all of that compounding on itself with how Randall, who was supposed to be the team leader and the team's best player, and how he performed and how he showed himself, you know, it really didn't play into his hands at all. And a lot of that is on him, which he has made his amends this year. But it's gonna take a lot of people. I think it's still gonna take a good portion of the fan base, some time to um still warm up to him, being this type of player consistently. But he has been doing it for, almost half the
Okay.
damn season so far. So, there's
More than
that.
half, really. Like since like mid-November, he's been like this. And yet like I think he definitely lost a lot of goodwill. He has to earn it back. I don't think really with the coaches he would. I don't think he's lost too much respect with the coaches. I feel like even when he was bad, the coaches still like respected the fact of what he can do. Um, I think my thing with him is just like it's just it's just kind of rough that he I lost my train of thought. Whatever. I do think he has the media on his side though. Like uh, he had the media push in December. You see like a lot of like aggregation for like his stats. And like it's hard to deny him when like the dude's putting like 5 threes in a quarter or like 40 points at Christmas and stuff like that. So like I definitely think he has the media on his side. I think Brunson's gotten a little bit of it now. And honestly, like this might just end up with both of them getting it. Like we're gonna get at least one. I think it's easier to make the case for Randall than Brunson right now. Even though Brunson's been like really, really good, but there's still Harden, there's still Halliburton, you still have Garland and guys like that. You still have Jalen Brown, who's going to be a shoe in. DeMar DeRozan, despite the fact that he hasn't played in a few games, like he's still somebody who like demands that respect around the league. And so I think it's definitely like a bit of a packed ballot at the guards. But at the front court, like unless you're giving the Heat 2 All-Stars, like who's really going to beat him out? Because like even if Butler gets in, then Randall's going to be the other guy who gets in. Because you can't have Randall and Bam. And like someone like Jared Allen is not going to move the needle. I'm sorry. Like Jared Allen got in last time because the game was in Cleveland. He's not moving the needle like that. And Miles Turner's a fraud, so we know this. And after that, like nobody else is like even has a case. Like you're not putting Porzingis in there, you're not putting Kyle Kuzma in there. So
I wonder if the All-Star game was in New York, would Jalen Brunson and Randall be like basically like automatics the way like Jared Allen um
Garland were.
and Garland were?
Yeah, like I absolutely do that like location has something to do with it.
Because we
Like
all know Lowry's going to be an All-Star this year. I mean, he damn well deserves it. I mean, he's been like
yeah,
putting up crazy numbers, but like it's very convenient that like he has his breakout season in Utah during the Utah All-Star game year. That's very convenient.
bro, you can't tell me this shit ain't rigged.
It's definitely
Come on.
someone out there is writing some scripts, and it is coming to be, because that's too perfect of a situation.
It is. Like you look at what 2020 the game was in Chicago. Like I know Chicago didn't get an All Star, but like Levine was on the bubble. 2019 Charlotte, Kemba Walker was fucking starting. Like 2018 Los Angeles, of course. So like, yeah, I definitely do that location factors into it, and I do expect them to. I do expect both of them. I think both of them just get it. I really do think both of them get it. I'm not really worried about that.
Yeah, I think JL's kind of says if Brunson doesn't get in, he will be the first injury replacement. There's always someone injured. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I don't think Halliburton's gonna play. And I don't think well, they'll reevaluate Halliburton in 2 weeks, but I doubt he actually like plays enough to like get there. And then you have KD, of course, who's gonna miss a month.
Yeah.
So, and even with the Halliburton thing, it's like if you're not playing for 2-3 weeks, it's gonna be hard to build him in over Brunson, because Brunson's like literally leading the league in points this year. So, and he's gonna win Pro of the Week.
Very easily, he should.
Yeah, so it's gonna be hard to deny him.
Hawkeye 420 asks, how sustainable is his shooting though? I believe this is right with Randall. We are so dependent on it since this coach doesn't run creative schemes to get others going. Yeah.
I mean, the guy's taking like nearly 8 threes a game, dude. Like he's hitting them at 35%. At some point you just gotta like look at the data hitting you in the face and be like, yeah, like I can understand the idea of, like how sustainable it is, but like 33% on like 8 attempts per game is going to draw gravity. I think it's less about like how efficiently he's hitting them, but it's like the fact that the guy will put up 10 a game if you let him, might be able to hit 4 or 5 of them, and the fact that his first quarters have been him basically hitting threes and rolling, it's going to give him gravity, and that's all he really needs. It's less about like the percentages and more about gravity. It's Marcus Smart theory, and the Marcus Smart theory, if you guys don't know about it, um, it's essentially like Marcus Smart is not the best shooter in the world, but he will launch them, and he will have a game where he hits like 4 threes. And if you're dealing with a player like that, then you might as well contest them because you don't want to have the game where he has 4 threes. So yeah, like that's why
Okay.
when someone sorry.
Hawkeye for 20 also adds on, what about versus contenders? Does the quality of opponent matter? I think it does to a degree. Um, because like I think you see versus certain opponents, you know, how this team performs, not even just defensively but offensively as well. I think versus better defenses, they might goad him into taking more of those shots as opposed to, balancing the quality of shots, that the quality of his looks. But I think having guys on the court like a Brunson and an IQ will help mitigate that to a degree.
Yeah, I just man, it's just I don't think quality opponent really matters. I really do think it's like the individual player and like how coaches respect them around the league. Because like bad teams get all stars. Someone like Trey Young, what has been an all star twice in his career, and he's been on bad teams for a lot of it. DeJounte Murray was an all star, and he was on a bad Spurs team. So like I don't think it's much about like I think it's just individual performance. And when you're performing to the level that's so high, like Julius has been, it's hard to deny you.
No, I think he means what about contenders like the shooting. Um,
Oh,
yeah. And like how he plays offensively versus like contenders versus like um other teams.
I mean, but like he's had good games against like the contending type teams. We just haven't won them. Like he had like the Sixers game, he had a really strong game against the Sixers. Uh, so I don't know. It's a very weird thing.
And I think we got to see how it looks going forward. I mean, we have a stretch coming up, I think, where we play a whole bunch of like contenders, or at least close to contending teams, or like better teams than we've been playing so far. I mean, tomorrow we play the Raptors. That's always a very interesting matchup, despite their record. Um, then we play the Wizards again. I'm trying to find this stretch where we, because like this week is a bunch of like sub 500 teams that we're playing. So
Let's go streaking.
yeah, but yeah, we start playing the Cavs next Tuesday. So I think that's the stretch. Yeah, that's definitely the stretch of games, because then Thursday we play the Celtics. um, then we play the Nets on Saturday on ABC.
Auto loss. Just like don't even worry about that game.
Yeah,
That's a loss.
that's an
Ben Simmons,
automatic loss. We haven't
We haven't never beat Ben Simmons, and we've never beat the Nets.
in Thibs' tenure. Yeah, so but yeah, that's the stretch where like this will like make or break. Not make or break the team, but like you'll really see what this team is made of versus quality opponents, and you'll see what our players are versus quality opponents. So you know,
Yep. I'm really am looking forward to like seeing how they play because like I think they can beat. I do think they can maybe like give the Celtics a game, and I think they can beat the Cavs.
well, it's on TNT. We play the Celtics pretty well when we play them on TNT. So
True, true.
it isn't Boston though.
We need Ever 48 to dust off the cleats, not the cleats, dust off the Pumas one more time.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be perfect time for
A good 30 bomb from the bench. Anybody can drop 30 to the bench, dude. Like I would enjoy that.
So next game is versus the Raptors. Tomorrow on MLK Day. At 3 o'clock in MSG.
Oh
Um,
shit! Right.
Raptors games are very interesting. We beat them the last time. Another game that came down to like down the stretch, crunch time, where Jalen Brunson got that clutch and one to really, put us ahead. But then before that, that was the game at MSG where they broke our win streak. So we'll be playing prison ball tomorrow on MLK Day. So it's gonna
This
be
is
very
not.
interesting.
This is not the free at last that Martin Luther King talked about.
Maybe a Gary Trent Jr. audition game,
We playing.
possibly.
We playing back in the bus for Rosa Parks. Cause that game ain't gonna have no spacing.
But yeah, I mean, it could be a Gary Trent Jr. Audition game. Um, we'll see how we handle Siakam in the Garden again. We did a pretty damn good job on him last time. I'll say that.
Because
Um,
Grimes actually played.
yeah. So Grimes will be playing this time once again. Hopefully, we can be better in the paint too. With Mitch. Was Mitch in foul trouble that first game when Siakam went off?
I think so.
I think so too. So if he can stay out of foul trouble and hold down the paint while Grimes, because him and Grimes have that nice synergy on defense where like they're able to like stifle guys on the perimeter, and then once they get to the paint, it's like, oh, Mitch Robinson's right there. Like I can't do shit now. So it's like they have that nice chemistry. They kind of displayed it against John Morant in the first half of that Memphis game at MSG, and it's gonna be great to see if they can replicate that versus Siakam. But yeah, we did a good job on him last game. Um, Let me find that box score of the last game because I forgot early how it went offensively for the Raptors. When was that game?
The first Raptor game, it was like Fred VanVleet was running us up, and it was Siakam.
No,
And
no, the last one that we played them.
oh,
Oh, I
yeah,
found it.
yeah, it's Gary Trent Jr. doing like he's like the
Yeah, it
only
was Gary Trent Jr. and Fred Van Vliet. Man, Fred Van Vliet loves playing against this man because he'll stink like shit versus everybody else. But yeah, he had 28, 8, and 7. Jesus. But yeah, we gotta stifle those guys. They're another team like similar to us where they don't really get much bench production. And their starters play a lot of heavy minutes. Um, Scotty Barnes once again had another stinker versus us, 2 for 10. So
Scotty Barnes stinkers are like breathing; they just
but
happen.
yeah, it's funny because like the first time we played them, he had a 1 for 10 game, and then the second time we played them, he had a 2 for 10 game.
So he got double the production. He might have 3 for 10. He might have 3 for 10 tomorrow.
Maybe. And he was the only minus out of the starters when we last played them too. That would have been bad. But yeah, I mean, if we keep Siakam in check and keep one of Gary Trent or Fred, I feel very confident in our chances. Tomorrow. Hopefully we just don't get a big ass lead, because then we'll know that we're gonna blow it eventually. So if the Knicks can just keep the game within striking distance and then pull away at the end, then that's great.
It would be so un-Knicks like the last couple of weeks, but I would take that. I would love to have a game where like the fourth quarter is pretty calm.
Yeah, because we haven't had that. I mean, like today would have been the perfect. Today would have been the absolute perfect day to do that because we play the Raptors tomorrow, and that's always like a very physical and grueling game, and you kind of want to have your full rest for that game. So it would have been great if we could have like pulled away early in this game, and then had our guys resting, so that way tomorrow we can be ready for the Raptors and prison ball. So
Wade in the water ball on Martin Luther King Day. What the ancestors really dreamed up.
Hawkeye for 20 says Michigan playing the fourth in the Siakam 50 because he got hit in the groin
Oh yeah,
by
right,
Siakam.
right. I forgot he was. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Okay, I'm not worried about Siakam. Cool. Yeah, we're fine. We're fine.
All right. I think we're gonna end things off here because I think we talked about all we can with this team, as well as the Giants are about to start their first playoff game in 7 years, and I'm trying to be tuned in for that. So
100%, 100%.
The Knicks won. Hopefully, Giants can win. Make it a nice clean sweep of Sunday. New York team's winning. Um, We will catch you guys tomorrow after the Raptors game. It is a 3 p.m. matinee. Last time the Knicks played a 3 p.m. Monday game, they smoked the Suns. So hopefully they can do the same to the Raptors. Um, but we'll be back tomorrow. Shout out to everyone that left a comment that tuned in. Make sure you guys leave a like and subscribe. We are on our way to 1K subs, so all that you do will help with the algorithm and whatnot. Also, check out everything Stricken related in the description. We got links to the site, merch, Patreon, and Twitter. All great ways to support us as we continue to expand and grow. We are also on Instagram now at thestrict.land. Just another great way to, absorb some Strickland content. If you are not on Twitter, you can always follow us on Instagram. So there's that. Catch you guys tomorrow. Enjoy your Sunday. Peace out.